Now let's move on to question B. So here we're given this figure, the figure 3, the third figure, the figure 3 here. So again we have this square, which actually means it's a slice of bread. So ABCD, here we have this slice of bread, and here what you're given is that ABCD is cut along the lines MT, TP, TQ, SU and SV. So as you can see, okay, let's refer to the diagram that I draw on the right hand side. So you have MT, you have TP, TQ, SU and SV. So these are the okay, and so this cut by cutting along these 5 lines we get these 5 areas, 1 2 3 4 5. These are the 5 areas, and as per the question it says that all these 5 areas are fair pieces. So what does that mean? It means that all the areas of all these 5 pieces are the same, and all these 5 pieces has the same length of the crust. Okay, so since it's already mentioned that it's a fair piece, so we have to assume that these two criteria are being met for all these 5 pieces. So what's the question here? We have to figure out what is the length of PQ. So this is PQ here, and we have to figure out the length of PQ. So this is a very straightforward question, because you don't even have to look at the area of this, the area of each of these pieces. You simply have to look at the length of the crust. You simply have to figure out the length of the crust. So we'll proceed by considering the length of the crust. So we know that ABCD is a square. Okay, this slice of bread is a square, and the length of each of the sides is 30. So the total length of this crust, I keep forgetting that term. So the total length of the crust is equals to total length of the crust is equals to 3 times 30 equals to 90. Okay, and since we are being told that each 5 pieces are fair pieces, so each 5 of them will have an equal amount of the crust. That means this 90 has to be equally divided among all these 5 pieces. So length of crust received by each fair piece is equals to 90, and we divide it by 5. Now if we divide 90 by 5, we get 18. And so each of this length is equals to 18. So AU equals to 18. So okay, let me write it down properly. Length of AU is equals to length of U, I'll mention this as UBP. Length of UBP is equals to length of PQ equals to, I'll continue on the next line, is equals to length of QCV equals to length of V D is equals to 18. So each of them gets a length of 18 worth of crust each. Our question was to find the length of PQ. Since each of them get the same length, which means PQ here is also going to be 18. So PQ is equals to 18. So that's how we found our answer. That's it. And finally now, okay, so we have solved the question B here. We got the length of PQ. So now we finally move on to the final question of question 3. So let's move on to question C now. So in C we are being asked that in figure 3 determine the length of ST. So now we are asked to determine the length of ST. Okay. And one more thing that's being mentioned in this figure is that AM equals to MD. So if the whole is 15, so if the whole AD is 30, so since AM equals to MD, so AM equals 15 and MD is 15 each. So they add up to 30. I'm telling this because this is going to come into use as we try to solve this one. So move on to question C. It's asking us to calculate the length of ST. So how do we go about solving this? Now instead of focusing on the crust, we have to focus on the areas. You have to use the concept of the areas and try to figure it out. Okay. So this is how I plan to solve this. Okay, we know that again, since those are all fair pieces, each of them will have the same area. Okay. So what's the area here? So let's calculate the area. We know that this is ABCD is a square of side 30H. So the area of the whole square is area of ABCD is nothing but the formula for the area of the square, which is 30 into 30 is equals to 900. And since each piece is a fair piece, so each one of them will have the same amount of area. So there are 5 equal pieces, so we have to divide 900 by 5. So area of each fair piece is equals to 900 divided by 5, which is nothing but 180. So each of them has an area of 180 now. Okay, so this is 180, 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 and if you add all of them up, we get the total area of the square. Now how is this going to help us? We have to figure out this part, ST. Okay, but we already know the length of the whole part, M. Let's draw a line like this, and let's name this point to be T dash. We know that M T dash. Let me copy this diagram. And bring it here. Okay, so we know that empty dash is equals to 30, because this is the same thing. AB, since we know the side is 30, this is nothing but the same thing. Empty dash is the same thing, just in between. So empty dash is also going to be 30. Okay, now if we figure out the length of t dash and subtract it, we'll at least get the length of mt. Okay, from that. And again, if we figure out the length of ms and subtract it from mt, we get the value of st, which is our final objective. We have to figure out the st, but we cannot directly figure out. And why am I saying this like that? It's because this is going to be the plan of action. So we have TPQ, which is an equilateral triangle, and we know the area of an equilateral triangle is base into height. So from this you can figure out the height. We already know the base. This is 18, since we figured it out in our previous question. You can figure out t dash. So, and don't worry, I'm going to do it step by step. Right now I'm just explaining the plan of action that I'm going to take. So once you figure out t dash, you can subtract it and get the value of st. Now again, SM, D and V, this is a trapezium, and we can figure out the value of ms by using the formula of trapezium. So indirectly what I'm saying is that we can figure out t dash and we can figure out ms, and if we subtract ms and t dash from this whole mt dash, we can get the value of st, and that's how we can get our answer. So I hope it makes sense. If it doesn't, now I'm going to do it step by step and it will all make sense now. So first look at this triangle. Consider the triangle TPQ. We know that its area, the formula of area is going to be half into base. What's the base here? Is PQ. And height. What's the height here? It's t dash. And we already know the area is 180. And from our previous question, as if you remember, we just figured out that PQ is equals to 18. So if we plug in the value of PQ here, PQ is 18, t dash is equals to 1. This is 180, by the way. This is 180. Now we solve for t dash. So 180 into 2 divided by 18. This comes as 10. 10 into 2, 20. This implies t dash equals to 20. So that was very straightforward. So if t dash is equals to 20, so we know that, again, this is our, let me just refer to this one, this is 2. From 1 we already know that mt dash is 30, t dash is 20. So what is mt? So mt is equals to, mt is equals to mt dash minus t dash. This implies mt equals to 30 minus 20 equals to 10. This implies mt equals to 10. Let's keep it as 3, because this is also going to come into play very soon. Now let's look at the trapezium.